The one bad thing about Arthur, like, I don't like him. I'm like, no, I like real. Same thing with Logic. Like Logic, you know, he got this thing of being biracial. In my opinion, honestly, you know, being black. Man, my fiance, she's Dominican, so we gonna have multicultural kids, and I feel like it is a different struggle, you know, with biracial, you know, kids and stuff like that, with biracial people.
And I feel like for him especially because he looks white. Like, you look at him and he looks white. He doesn't look biracial. And also, he says in his story that he'd go to school and people would call him white, and then he comes home and his parents would call him black and stuff. So it's just like confusing for a kid's mind. Yeah. And the household he was raised in, you know, like the situation he was in, you know, like that, it wasn't privilege at all, bro. It was very much struggle.
Yeah, and I feel like he's being bashed because a lot of other people they're afraid to speak on that. You know, or they haven't experienced that, and like, you know, like I tell people, you know, by 2060, it really ain't gonna be no such thing as race. Everyone's gonna be mixed. You know, so it's like you starting to see the beginnings of, like, you know, the biracial, you know, starting to take over a little bit, and now Logic, what he's doing, I respect that. You know, sometimes he may go a little bit overboard, but then
I agree.
At the same time, it's like he bringing on something to light where some people be like, oh, it's whatever, like, he privileged and stuff like that. Like, nah, man, like, when I have kids, my fiance told me, she said she want to have that talk, you know, because, you know, they gonna be black, you know, especially with all the stuff going on with the police brutality and stuff like that. My talk is gonna be about that too, but it's gonna be more, like, deeper than that, because it's like, you know, you're gonna go somewhere, you know, in a Latin neighborhood, and certain people may look at you a different way, and then you may even go to a black neighborhood, they're gonna look at you a different way, like, you know, different schools and stuff like that. And like, for me, my thing is when I you know, when they able to, you know, listen to me and stuff and, like, you know, comprehend, I want to tell them one thing, just do one thing and don't give a fuck what no one say. You know what I'm saying? Because I grew up like that. Like, I kept doing my thing. I was a geek, still as a geek, a nerd, still play video games and stuff. I still have, like, the big backpack and stuff. But, like, I tell them, like, don't give a fuck what people say. Just keep going, because that's another thing. Like, we all, you know, fell with depression and things like that, like I have, you know, when I was younger. And that's something I don't want to go back to. And I don't want my kids to suffer through that.
That's you know the worst thing. It's just like, you knowing what it feels like and then having your kids go through that too. It's just, I could only imagine it's a horrible feeling, bro. And it gets harder now in these days, like I was saying before, with all this technology, bro. All this social media, everyone's just looking for validation. Everyone's just looking to be the cool kid or whatever the fuck, just to be accepted by your peers. And of course, it helps. It helps a lot if you have friends and you're accepted and you're seen as a cool person. But at the end of the day, that doesn't really matter, bro. What matters is just the quality of person you are, you know, how good of a heart you have, how good of a mind you have, you know, like, are you willing to, what am I saying? Are you willing to help people without anything in return, bro? That's how I was raised. My parents would always tell me, just like, dude, help people, you know, be a good person, because at the end of the day, that's what matters, you know. And something that always sticks in my head is my mom told me, really, when I was young, she's just like, you want to know what a man is? She goes, a man is someone who keeps their word. Like, a man is someone who steps up to the plate and takes responsibility, you know. And I didn't really understand it at the time, but now as I'm becoming an adult, I'm just like, damn, dude, that is the truth, you know. Your word is all you got, you know. Like, your work ethic, your hustle, you know. Like, can you take on responsibility and actually follow through? Like, these are important qualities to have in a person, and if you don't have these qualities, you're seen as a flake. You're seen as someone who doesn't really care about anything, and that could affect your career and your future, basically. So it's really tough, because all these kids, they're growing up and their parents aren't teaching them that, you know, and they're just looking for the likes or the this and that on the internet or this and that at school. And before you know it, they get out of high school and they're going into college and they can't do anything, bro. Exactly. They can't do anything, and it's sad to see it, you know. But in my head, I'm just like, okay, survival of the fittest, you know, like. We don't want the workspace crowded with those people who can't do anything. You know, we want the workspace filled with motivated people who can keep their word and do what they need to do. And That's kind of what I like about rolling with these guys. I mean, there's a lot of different reasons I like rolling with SoFlo, but I feel like we all have a pretty good work ethic, you know? I mean, of course, it's a lot of us, so it's hard to kind of like find a happy medium for everyone at the pace to be moving at, you know? But once the pace is established, it's definitely motivational and, what's the word? Inspiring, motivational, inspiring, and it just helps us all like move forward, which is really, really dope. Because I've worked with people who just have horrible work ethic, you know, who can't do anything. Like, bro, when I was studying music performance, it was very simple. Get your music, practice your music, learn your music, come back to rehearsal with your music prepared. You know, it's common sense. But these people wouldn't do it, you know, when you're playing in groups of like 5-6 people. You know, like, if someone doesn't practice, it's such a hindrance on the group, you know, and it's a demotivator, and that was what was happening to me. Like, people wouldn't be practicing, and I just stopped going to school, you know, like, I stopped registering for classes, you know, I just stopped doing all this shit, and it sucked, and I had to come to this realization. It's just like, dude, okay, this isn't working out for X and X reason. Sure, you could blame other people, but you could blame yourself too, you know? And I blame myself for just not continuing and just doing it, you know, and stopped going to school and shit like that. So that's really where I picked up the ball with this, and I'm also changed my major, which is good. So, like, I'm actually studying something that I'm doing on a regular basis, you know, like every day, and something that I feel like not only is a more profitable market, but also something I'll enjoy doing more, you know, because I'm not stuck behind an instrument in an orchestra or whatever the fuck, wearing a fucking penguin suit, like.
You more broad with it. You could do anything, you know.
Yeah, bro. If I wanted to, I could manage an orchestra with this knowledge. I could manage an artist. You know, I can create a publishing company. I could create a fucking record studio if I wanted to. That's kind of like a goal of mine. I do want to have a recording studio, like when I can.
That's all our goals, man.
Right?
That's been my goal since I was in high school. You know, to have like a record studio, record label, and stuff. It's something I'm still passionate about, but as I got older, marketing was like something that I fell in love with, you know, especially like in MySpace days. And for real, like, if y'all don't know about MySpace is like, if it wasn't for MySpace, it wouldn't be no Facebook, no IG, no Snapchat, no none of this stuff. But it forced me to promote myself, you know, it forced me to do that. So yeah, man. So what was your first track that you ever recorded?
Oh, the first track I ever recorded. Oh, damn. I don't even have this. And every time I think I have it like backed up on a computer somewhere. But every time I hear it, I'm just like, dude, why did people let me put this out? You know, because like I feel like that's how it is with everyone. You know, your first track is always just like, but it was this track called "You Thought You Knew," and I did everything. I did the whole arrangement. I fucking played the drums on it, played the keys on it. I did everything on it. And this is back when I had like stopped going to school, and I was just like, okay, you know, I want to like try to do this shit for real, you know, and record this shit. So like I bought a USB mic, you know, I had it there. It came with this program called Sonar, because I didn't have a MacBook then, but I do now. And fucking I'm setting it up or whatever, learning how to use the microphone. I make this arrangement, I write the words, dude. And it was crazy, dude. It was just like this crazy song, not in a good way, like in a bad crazy. Like it just went from one end to like all over the place, bro. And I recorded it, and I was so proud of it, bro. And I'd show people, like, and they'd be like, okay, like that's cool. And I'm just like, damn, bro, like fuck. It was tough. And when I put that out, I was kind of like not motivated, you know. I was just like, damn, dude, like. I'm not as good at this as I thought I was, you know, because like I was still coming off of this arrogant mentality from playing instruments, you know, because, bro, I'm very talented. I'm not even going to try to, like, toot my own horn or anything, but, like, I'm a talented instrumentalist, you know, and I've played all types of gigs, you know, done this and that, can read music really well, super proficient, and so, like, that arrogance was coming on to, like, the realm of, like, writing music and recording music, because, dude, those are two completely different things, you know, like, sure, I could write a melody, but try writing words on top of that melody that makes sense, that people can relate to, you know, that you can enjoy yourself. And I feel like that's a big part of, like, writing music, you know, it's like those three properties. And it was very difficult for me, and that's why people didn't like it, because I didn't have that quality that was just, like, sticking with people, you know. They was just kind of words thrown on a paper, you know, recorded with a microphone or whatever the fuck. So that was tough. and I recorded a couple more, made the beats for those two. I mean, the beats were okay, but like the reason they were okay is because I was just pulling loops, and I wasn't doing it from scratch. And then I met the SoFlo guys, and me and my boy James, shout out to James, we recorded this track called No Hurry, which is like my first time like, okay, this is actually decent. I could listen to it today, and I'd be like, it's not horrible, it's not too bad.
So how old you were when you first met them?
I was 18.
18, so 18, okay, yeah. So you...
I like 18 or 19, I'm not sure. One of the two. I mean, it's not even that long ago. But what happened was I started doing like gigs on my French horn, just like going to different places and playing, like I was playing jazz because like, I have an affinity for jazz. I love it. And I would be playing in Wynwood, this party, that party, or whatever. And my boy JC, who's part of the movement too, he goes by Squint. He was throwing this party for a homie of ours, girlfriend. It was like a masquerade party and shit. It was super lit, super fun. But he's having like live music, and I was just like, dude, let me play my horn there, or whatever the fuck. Yeah. So I pulled up to the sound check, setting up, and I met these SoFlo guys, and I'm just like, yo, what's good? Whatever the fuck. I did my sound check, and I left. Excuse me. I came back to the party, did my thing, and then when they came on to perform, I was just like, dude, what the fuck? This is crazy. Like, this is really cool, because I'd never seen, like, live hip-hop before. So I was just like, damn, this is dope as fuck. And I was just like, yo, could I play my horn with you guys? And they were like, dude, of course. Like, what the fuck? So we were going back and forth that night, and I got all their information, and we exchanged information. And I was writing songs at this time, too. This was, like, when I wrote that whack-ass song that, like, no one fucked with. I kept it on the low. And I didn't tell anyone. And then I was just like, dude, like, let's do a song. Like, I'm totally down, like, put my horns, and sing. Because, like I said, I've been singing forever. And they were like, yeah, for sure. So we played a couple more parties together. We did, that masquerade one. We had a Halloween one. Like, dude, and it was fucking lit. That Halloween party was lit. I remember.
I know it had to be lit. It's Halloween.
Yeah, right? I was, like, drunk as fuck, playing the trumpet on top of, like, a big-ass monitor. It was crazy. And, we ended up linking up and putting out that song, like, at the beginning of the next year, which was, I think, 2016, 2015, something like that. So, been a minute. And ever since I put that song out, I'm just like, okay, I actually want to, like, write songs, and do this shit. So I've been doing that since, and I'm a lot of projects in. Like I was telling you, I deleted a couple, but I got so many projects. I'm kind of just like,
because the first one that you I seen you did was Paradise.
Yeah, and that's the one I have up there right now.
What was the backstory with that project?
With that project, I don't know if you ever heard him. He's like an underground guy. His name's Felly. He's from Cali. Yeah.
Nah, I haven't heard of him. He on SoundCloud?
Yeah, he's on SoundCloud. He's actually real dope. I fuck with him a lot. I get a lot of inspiration from that guy. But
I'm gonna check him out later.
Yeah, I'll link you and shit. But I was listening to a lot of him, and I was just like, dude, he has this like beach sound, like this like really wavy shit, and I was just like, damn, I kind of want to like emulate that, but in my own way. And that's why, like, when people get offended when someone says, oh, you sound like this person, you sound like this person, I don't know why, because like, dude, we draw influences from these people, like we're listening to them. We have to draw some type of influence. No one could be 100% original, dude. No. That's ridiculous, because music has been being made for centuries.
Yeah, because like, even like producers not original. They have some type of, influences from past, producers and things like that.
And that's just how it is, bro. And so, like, when people say that shit, I'm just like, fuck out of here, bro. Like, that's bullshit. But I got a lot of inspiration for this guy, and it was like the summertime, so I was just like, I'm gonna make this summertime project, like put it out, see what happens. And that actually, with that project, that was the first song of mine that reached over 1,000 plays on SoundCloud, which to me at the time was like a big deal, and it kind of is still a big deal to me, just because like our following, or my following specifically, isn't crazy,
It's still growing.
It's growing, of course, and it'll always grow, I hope, anyways. But it's just filled with a lot of dedicated people that, like, listen to my stuff and like my stuff, And I know a lot of them personally on, like, a personal level, so that helps, too, because it kind of creates that artist-fan engagement, But I don't even consider myself, like, on that level, and I don't consider them fans, They're supporters, bro. They just support me with what I'm doing, which I appreciate a lot.
Yeah, because Paradise reminded me of... Currency it's another person I can hear in your
Damn.
music too. Because when I seen